All right, so an angle's measure is 30 degrees more than 2 times the measure of its supplement. Okay? What we want to do here is we want to translate this into math, right? So the first thing I want to know is the supplement. Okay? So on your side note, in your notes, you need to know that supplement means 2 angles that add to equal 180. Right? And its complement is 2 angles that add to equal 90. I would put that in your notes because that way you know right away which one is which. Okay? Now this says supplement, so I'm looking at this one, and I need to know that this looks like this, and this one looks like that. Okay? So one of them is a line, the 180, is a line made up of 2 angles. The other one is a 90-degree angle made up of 2 angles. Okay? This is a supplement, so we're going to have a line, right, with 2 angles in it. Okay? Of course it is. It's okay. I don't expect to be. I'm not a basketball player. So, angles that its measure is 30 more. What does that mean? 30 more than 2 times its supplement, right? So, I don't know how much these are, right? So one of them is going to be x, and the other one's going to be related to it, right? So we're relating them to each other. So both of them are going to have an x value to it, right? Except one of them is more. In fact, one of them is 2 times more, right? Right? So how do I think of 2 times something? 2x, right? Just 2 times it. Okay? So that's where I get the 2 times. Now, why did I choose this one as 2 times? Why didn't I choose this one?
Because the left hand looks bigger.
Yeah, it's bigger, so why not make it look right, right? It's all art, you know? You could have chose either. Really doesn't matter. It's math. It'll figure it out, right? You'll just have this one being the acute and this one being your obtuse. Doesn't look like it, but they are.
About 30 degrees.
Yeah, how about the 30? So next is, what about 30 more than this? It's more than that, right? Adding 30, yeah, more. And more than this means I'm adding it to this, right? So that's where the 30 plus comes from, and that's where your 2x, right? This is your 2x. That's where that's coming from, right? So once I have that, I pretty much have everything I need to know because this tells me that these 2 angles need to add up to equal 180, right? And now I just do the math. Okay? Now I just do the math. I add these 2 to equal that. So I can do what? I can add my x's. And my x's are now 2 and 1 is 3. Plus 30 equals 180. Okay? And what did I do there? Is that addition, property of equality? Simplification, exactly. Remember, addition, property of equality means I'm doing it on both sides of the equation. Okay? Both sides of the equal sign. When I'm just adding things up, remember, PIMDAS, right? When I'm just doing PIMDAS, that every single time is simplification. Or distribution is another type of simplification, right? So that is simplification. Okay? So now, what do I do? Now I've got to solve, right? And solving always uses our properties. Does that make sense? When we're solving, we're always doing it to both sides of the equation. So when we solve, we're using our properties. Okay? So I'm going to subtract 30, and I get 3x is equal to 150, right? And that is subtraction property of equality. Okay? And then next, I'm going to divide, right? So just divide by 3, divide by 3. And I get x is equal to 50, right? There's 3 50s and 150, right? So that's division property of equality. But then I got to go a step further. So that's one of the angles. That's this guy, right? So this guy is 50 degrees. Okay? What does that make this one?
You don't know. Oh, you have to 180 minus 50.
Yes, 180 minus 50. So this can't be 100 because 100 that'd be 150, right? So this has to be 130. But how did we get it? Is we said, well, hey, definition, right? Definition of a supplementary angle, okay? Tells me what? That 50, right? Plus something, in this case y, because 50 we used for x, right? So 50 plus something equals 180. Okay? And so now, I just subtract 50, and I get it to both sides. I'm solving, right? And so y is equal to 130, because I used subtraction property of equality.
What if you didn't do that? Like you just, you knew that the other, you had a minus 50 from 180 and you would get the other.
If you didn't do this, you're going to miss a point or 2.
On the test?
Yeah. So if you tell me it's 130, that's cool, right? But if you don't show me these, you're missing points also. So you got to show me this, and you've got to show me this. Yes, sir.
So the larger one is 130 and the smaller one is 50.
Yes. So this larger one is 130. Now, is there another way we could have solved that instead of just assigning a new variable? Yes, there is, right? We could have said that 2x, right, plus 30 was equal to this other side, right? And so all I had to do was, what? This is given, right? Because it tells us that. Okay? So what would I do? 2x plus 30, and I would plug in 50. Right? Plugging in means substitution. Okay? So you could have done it this way. And then you do your math, and you say, well, this is, you could call this distribution, or you just call it simplification. 2 50s equal 100, right? So we simplified, or you could have done it all in one step, 130, simplify. It's fine with me if you did it in one step. It's still simplification, right? So we know that this is 130 degrees. Okay? So you can use this side or this side on the midterm. It's up to you. Whatever's easiest for you. If you like substitution, use this. If you like the definition of a supplementary angle, use that.